It's Mooch. So I want to give credit where credit's due. The White Picket Rebellion channel is where this idea came from. It was in a comment from somebody else that I did reply to. So go over, watch his channel. It's a good channel. It's a 50 plus channel. One of the comments, because we were talking about just getting out of the matrix and jobs, and jobs is a big, huge issue. But I saw someone post, and it's tough to know. Of course, I don't know their whole real life. I don't know their job situation as a whole. We're going by one blurb, one paragraph online somewhere, so I get it. But I wanted to address the topic overall, and that is what opportunities are there for us over 50 out there in the job market at a job that we're already in? Because the comment that was left was that, they're in their 50s and they don't have any opportunities at work. Or what was it? There was very specific language. Oh, they're not given any opportunities at work. Now, there may truly not be a path of succession for them. Maybe that's what they meant by they weren't given opportunities at work. So I totally understand if it's more of a structural thing and it's not there's no path of succession at this workplace. And I understand there are some places that it tends to be that way. It's either much more linear structured or whatever. You're just part of a big blob of workforce or whatever it is. And I don't even know what he does or she does. I think it was a he, but I'm not sure. So my whole thing though is no one is going to give you an opportunity at work. Certainly God provides things because God is the provider of your income. It's not even your job. So yes, does God provide all the opportunities and all of the things and all of the income? Yes. Okay. But going on from there, it's who you know, it's what you can do. It's pretty much, I hate to say it, yes, it's who you know and what you can do. So I learned early on, or maybe too late in my career, but early on, I don't know, it was like I was around 30 or so. And I started to learn, oh, it is who you know in the office. If you get to know the right people, that is where the opportunities pop up because they go, oh, hey, you know X, Y, and Z skill. That's the thing too. You have to be able to do the thing because what happens is the high up person goes, oh, I have this job opening or I have this new thing or I have a new employee come in like a new manager and they need an assistant under them or whatever, or they need XYZ employees around them on a team. How do I form this team properly? And they want people with certain skills. So you have to hire out for those, or they have to look where they are and see what's the skill set of the people who are already here. So if you want a job opportunity where you are, then you need to be useful. You need to have whatever skills are coming up or whatever's needed right now in positions that are open. And you also probably need to be friendly or know or be on the good side or just even be on the radar. It's mostly being on the radar of this person. And if you don't know that person directly, say it's a manager or something, maybe you know a different employee who maybe could be the assistant of that manager, or you might know another manager who could sort of get you an in with that manager, or at least to get you recognized where, oh, you're a good possible candidate. You could, again, it's you've got to work your network. You've got to work your network of people. When you are over 50, especially, you absolutely, sorry, there's noises outside, but you absolutely have to work your network because that is what you have. That is the biggest commodity that you have besides your skills and experience, which some people see as a downfall or a detriment in a way where people don't want to pay for your skills and experience. But then some of us are willing to take a pay cut because it's not necessarily about the pay. You have to you have to make a living, you have to pay your bills, but you're not always necessarily interested in I'm just looking for jobs for the money part of it. And there's I hate to say there's a happiness factor. I mean, I get it. A lot of us are just miserable at our job no matter what it is, or we're not happy about going to work every day. I mean, I can't say who's really happy. There are some people who are really happy, or there's people who have convinced themselves, I think. People have convinced themselves that they're happy because Of course, they went to school for X topic, then they come out and then they do the thing. Great, if that's really what they wanted to do, but some people have just sort of brainwashed themselves into the fact that they're, quote, happy because they are doing the thing that everybody else told them they needed to do or that they thought they needed to do or whatever. But getting back to the over 50 at work, kind of making your own way, no one, again, no one's going to give you an opportunity. I knew somebody like this at work, totally nice person, but she had kind of sat around in this department just getting by. She sort of like was a wallflower of this department. And we'd gone through several managers. Eventually, I took the job that I guess she wanted. She wanted a promotion to this job, though, because she had been there a long time. Great, but she didn't have the experience for it. So again, we're getting back to skills. What can you do? I had way, way more skills in a certain area than she did. And she was just like, well, I guess you have to have skills in that area. And she was just really resentful about it. And it's like, yes, what did you expect? It's sort of like you've been on this team in this department for X amount of years. You have eyes, you have ears. Don't you think you would need X amount of experience to become the manager or one of the managers? The fact that she didn't even put two and two together there showed me she's just not even manager material to begin with. And maybe she was a manager somewhere else, I think, earlier in her career. And we did have a lot of former managers. But let me tell you, some of these people in our department were kind of cuckoo mental cases in a lot of ways. But that's a story for another day. But either way, this woman was well above 50 at the time. At the time that I took my job, I was in my late 40s. And I get it. So the younger-ish person comes along and takes the job that you want, but I applied to it. I applied to the job and I had the qualifications to do it. So it's like, I'm sorry. It's like, I'm sorry in a way, but you didn't even bother applying. So it's like, if you at least had applied, then we would have gone head to head. And who knows, maybe she would have been the person picked if they thought that she could have learned X amount of skills in a certain amount of time to fill the gap. But that's part of the problem, though, is people's attitudes. You cannot, whether you're 50 plus or not, you cannot have the attitude of what is going to be given to me at work. Nothing's going to be given to you. You have to earn it or know someone who can get you on the right pathway. And I'm sorry, I know I know nepotism exists, and I know that, friends, family, whatever, and I know there's a lot of policies at different workplaces against a lot of this stuff. So luckily there are a lot of policies out there to prevent a lot of jobs just going to friends and family and who knows who. And they ask a lot of questions. Most jobs do screen, does your family work here? Stuff like that. They don't want to put you in the same department. It's not that you can't work there if your family works there. You just can't necessarily be in a place that would pose a conflict of interest for that company or university or whoever, whatever. So I think when you're 50 plus, you have to have the right attitude, especially we have to be much more open. We have to be maybe even 2 to 3 times more open and flexible than our younger counterparts, because they need to see that we are still in a pattern of growth and still in a pattern of production, still in a pattern of doing and improving. Because if we're not, if we're really just quiet quitting and we really just want to wait around for our promotion someday, like, number one, it's not going to happen. And number two, it makes the rest of our demographic look bad. It does make our demographic look unhireable if that is the attitude. But I know it's not the attitude of most. I know it's the attitude of some. But if it happens to be your attitude while being at work and wanting a promotion to something else, or wanting an opportunity, or again, trying to get some different type of job, you have to have a totally different attitude. So maybe this is the point where you realize, okay, wow, it's not going to happen. I have to change my mind. I have to change my attitude. Maybe I need some different skills or whatever. And I'm not saying perpetually, endlessly go to school or endlessly have, piles of certifications all over your resume. There's a point where we're like, okay, I'm done. I can't get one more certification, or it's just like, it's too exhausting. But then, you just have to realize though that maybe you're in a limited pool, or maybe there's some limitations to what you're going to get. But if we want to be seen as hireable, yes, I hate to say this, we have to almost convince them that we are fresher than they want to perceive us. They see a young person as moldable, teachable, still be coachable and teachable, but also be the experienced mentor at work too, because if they're wanting to teach the younger generation, then you need to be at work and be willing to teach other people. I think that one of the best ways to get a job from an interview is to just say that you're not a gatekeeper of information, because I see this a lot, especially in women managers. They got to a place and then they feel like they have to like cling to it in a weird way where they can't tell anybody anything. They can't share information with any, and I've seen this multiple times. So it's not just me either. I've heard from other women that this is the way that a lot of women act on the job, which is not good. It's not good for our workforce. It's also, if men are acting this way, it's not good. It's, do you want to be helpful? Do you want to be a manager in service? Do you want to be a mentor? And I think that you should be at work as a mentor to other people. And you also, it's not your job. It's not your workplace. You don't own the company. If you're working for somebody else, you don't own all this information. And I know we do a lot of work and we produce a lot of things, but we don't own any of it. When we produce it for this other workplace that is owned by somebody else, it becomes their property. It's their thing. Yes, did we help produce it? And we can take some measure of pride in it, not to be prideful, but just to be glad that we did something productive. But I just think you can't go into work with the attitude of, I'm going to gatekeep, I've got to preserve my position, and I have to basically be an all-around jerk, or I have to like not give any information to anybody, because you are like the worst to be at work with if that is your attitude. If you are that type of manager or employee where you don't share any of your work, you won't share like templates out, examples, you won't mentor a new hire. You're asking to be fired, basically. If somebody notices, if somebody with a brain in their head notices, that could get you fired. But unfortunately, a lot of these people aren't looked at, and they survive in jobs for years under the radar, and they are just like a toxic goo that just slimes around the whole workplace. And then there's a lot of other managers that they get around them that act the same way. They gatekeep. They're like, well, they just can't, I'm not going to bother to tell you this information, or go find it out for yourself. And you can't find it out because it's not find outable. Or they just keep everything in their head that they learned through, and it just, nothing's on an SOP, nothing's written down. I worked for two people like this where nothing was written down. And it's like, how can you train a new person? How am I supposed to train a new person? Like, I got to write some of this stuff down. I don't care if you like it or not. But anyway, just, yeah, over 50, it is hard enough for us out there in the job market. And we have to be hireable. And a lot of the things that I said in this video, if you want to be hireable, you need to change your attitude at work. So just, if this was hard hitting for you, just kind of walk away and examine that. And maybe you have some comments and things that you'd like to share that that I could learn from, or any of us could learn from. We all just have to be willing to learn from each other. So, all right, good luck with your job search, or finding and making opportunities at work for yourself. Okay, use your network. Talk to you guys soon.